so far, and that 7-game run without a win is the longest in their history. And Brian, you watched this game first, and if we look at the match statistics of the game tonight, a very familiar picture for Liverpool: dominating possession, total attempts on goal, on top again, and still not getting the result.
Yeah, they dominated the game. Spartak Moscow played like the away team. Liverpool just lacked that finish. The goalkeeper should have done a bit better on the goal, the free kick. I didn't want to analyse it too much because I didn't think it was overall. It wasn't the main problem. They should have won the game on the number of chances they created, played with great tempo in the second half, chasing the winner, but didn't get it. And those missed chances and the lack of a clinical striker has cost them tonight again. I mean, they hadn't got a 20-goal striker last year, and they don't look like they have one this year either.
Well, you're going to start with that in terms of the missed chances they have. We saw some of them there. Some of them were very good chances. And, is it a case that they should be encouraged by performances like this, or worried that they're not putting any chances?
Yeah, well, you still got to get through the group. Firmino heads it into the middle of the goal where the goalkeeper can make the save, rather than head it to the side of the goalkeeper down low where he's not likely to get it. Here you see the ready to pounce, ball comes in again, and he's not ready really, Firmino. He doesn't really expect that it's going to break for him behind the centre half. And this was a fantastic breakout here. Marino gets a touch. Look at the speed of Liverpool getting forward off the corner kick. And they've got 6 up in the half. Now, really, the ball should have been played for Salah, I think, a lot earlier. But when he gets to there, that's a tap in. Just stick it in the far corner of the net. Instead, he puts it wide.
You thought he should have scored that, yeah?
Yeah, he should have scored. I mean, it's 2 yards out and goal, his left foot. Just squeeze her into the far corner. Coutinho, very good on the night. Breaks to Henderson here. Little ball in over the top. Sturridge volleys it over the bar, coming on the substitute. That's an opener for a player of his ability and standing. Again, good play. Taking their time, and it's Salah's header. Fantastic save. That was the reserve goalkeeper, or the sub goalkeeper, Selikov, to come on, but really should have headed that either side the goalkeeper, and the match was won because Moscow didn't threat Spartak Moscow. Other than the goal they scored, the free kick, they never had another shot in the match.
Coutinho did the business for them, is in the team after the shenanigans in the summer, and I guess they're glad to have him still in there.
Well, he was superb at times now. I was looking for little combinations between him and the other, the other three that fab forward are saying. That didn't come up so much. There wasn't so much combination play. But look at that ball. Great ball, picking out. Didn't react quick enough for Firmino to it. Here's the pass. Fantastic ball into the feet of Salah. Good defending. They had loads of players back to the line of 5 and the line of 4. Here, this ball, we'll see it over and over again this season, where he comes inside and plays a diagonal on his right foot. We'll see here again, he'll be available. It comes out with Henderson. Here's Marino coming in. This actually breaks for the goal here. Plays little 1-2. 3 defenders drawn towards the ball. None of them react to his little run. Ball to Mane. Back in. Takes a touch. And deadly finish from him. And spectacular goal. He was very, very good in the match, but he would have been annoyed at how many chances he created for the forward players that they didn't score. But he's back, and I'm sure they're delighted to have him back. Little chink in his armour on the left-hand side about who's going to defend in front of Marino, and I'll see that, I'll show that as we go along. 9
goals in his last 14 games for Liverpool, and as you say, without a sort of free-scoring striker, it's really important from him. But just develop that point then on the lack of protection that he gives Marino on the left-hand side.
Yeah, we wondered, Graham, Kevin, myself, wondered where would he play with Chan and Henderson in the middle of the field. Would he play as the left of a 3? So he does. He plays on the left, and you can see him there in the picture as the build-up is going on, goes back to Bajetti, and they want to play the ball forward now. But look at the massive space out on the left-hand side, and the forward player Samadov is saying, look at the spaces out behind me. No Liverpool player on the left. Coutinho doesn't know there's a danger. Mane's not sure there's any danger. Ball slipped through. Mane hopes that Lovren gets there and wins the tackle, and he does. And that could be punished a lot more than it was tonight. You see, they're on the attack here. Chan has it. Now they've got 4 players up in attacking positions on the left-hand side. It breaks down. Are they really bursting the gut to get back? You'll see that Marino gets back into place, but none of the other 3 do. So here it is. Marino heads it down, and it's picked up by the wing-back Eschenko. Gets forward. Eventually Firmino is in there, and they just about deal with it in the box. And there's a third one. Look at them drawn over towards the ball again. Marino drawn in towards the centre half. Big space here. Coutinho knows now that it's his job to get there, but he gets there too late, and it's up to Karius to make a block save. So they've got to develop that system, that the defensive structure is good and solid against better teams than Spartak Moscow.
But is this not the discussion? We had it with our live match tonight, and Neil Lennon was making the point in commentary that you get one thing in terms of overloading the opposition up front. You have to sacrifice a little, you have to take a few risks.
That's fair to a degree, but you've also got to structure your team that they suss danger and know their responsibility when there's a counter-attack coming or when the opposition are in possession, and what your role is and how quickly you've got to get out of that position. It was up to Coutinho to shuffle across to that left side a bit quicker, or else have that communication with Mane that knows he's got to do it. And Marino, he should be shouting at them again, communicating and saying, I need you back in front of me. There's a big space outside me. I can't deal with the wing back. I've got to come in and give cover to the centre halves. I'm dealing with the three front players. And there's not enough of that, and they're too open on the counter-attack. They've conceded 11 goals in the league already, conceded tonight to Sevilla. It's too many goals. It's all right saying we'll get loads of goals, but you can't keep... You can't win matches, can't sneak matches 1-0 if you don't defend well, and they're not defending well enough, and the manager knows that.
2 draws in games that they probably could have and should have won. Are Liverpool in danger of making a mess of what should be a soft enough group?
Well, it didn't go too well for them, I think, tonight. The other result didn't go the way they would have wanted.
Don't give it away now.
I'm not going to give it away. But they've only 2 draws. They've had a home game, away game. That was a game to be won tonight. They should be coming out tonight with 4 points. It's not the best of situations, even after 2 games. But with 4 games, you can say they can turn it around. But they've made it more difficult for themselves than it should be.
They've got that double header against Maribor next, which you'd imagine target there is 6 points.
Yeah, but the target tonight would have been 3 points, and Moscow, Spartak invited them on and allowed them to have the possession and create chances. They were able to play all the attacking players, and they still weren't able to do it because of one fault at the back. I didn't think it was a free kick, but neither did Karius cover himself in glory as it went by him into the net.
Thanks for the moment. Spartak are at home to Sevilla next. That's how the Group E picture looks. Liverpool second in the table, but without a win so far. Just to develop what Brian was talking about there, the conversation around Liverpool, Graham, has been all about the defence largely, but is that missing the point? Is it the missed chances? Is it the fact that they play in a certain way and they're not maybe scoring enough goals for the attacking threat that they have? Definitely,
and it's a mystery. You know, you have that much the ball, that many chances, you play in opposition's half, but you don't put teams to the sword. They dominate the ball and they look fabulous, but you've got to be putting the ball away at that time, because there will be a period in the 90 minutes where the game changes, or the opposition will get chances, and they seem to be, it's a dangerous mix to have. If you're not putting the chances away and then conceding with a few chances the opposition have, you're not going to be successful at the highest level. That tonight was a game. It should have been a formality. The way the game looked, the highlights, Brian. If that was how the game was for 90 minutes, it looked like it should have been a 3 or 4-0, and Liverpool home and hose by half time. Where are you with Klopp and with Liverpool at the moment, Graham? I know you watch them very closely. We mentioned in this discussion with Brian there, in keeping with a lot of their games, dominating, creating chances, but always giving the opposition a chance to score as well. What's your take on the season so far? I think Liverpool are a fabulous watch right now. I think against the not so good teams, they can be gung-ho, cavalier, go after them and not worry too much about them at the other end. But I think when you play against the better teams, I don't think you can play like that and beat the bigger teams. They'll pick you off. They won't need 3 chances to score a goal. They won't be offering you as many chances at the other end. I think it has to be a more cautious approach when you play the bigger teams. But I think, Jurgen Klopp has so much faith in the players he's got. He feels a bit like Dortmund tonight. He feels that his players can go out and take anyone on in a goal fest, and I don't think they're good enough to do that.
I think we look as well constantly, and Brian's touched on it tonight, and Graham spoke about it before the game. Moreno, yes, he is poor defensively, but I don't see Lovren, who's inside him, being any better. I don't see him taking any sort of responsibility. I think the distance between Lovren and Moreno is far too close, and I think that they overcompensate at times, and that's how they get caught in so often down the side. We saw it in the game this season, the Hoffenheim game. Those two in particular have been poor, and I think Liverpool's left side defensive unit looks very, very poor. And I know, they have missed the chances today, granted, but Moreno and Lovren as a pairing don't look look good to me at all.
So all this talk about the way the Klopp philosophy and the way he plays and you know the way he maybe not focusing on defence. If you had a better centre half and a better left back,
yeah. Granted, that's the case.
Would that be moot?
But surely they're the sort of things you work on. The unit of the side, the distances between each other. They're the things that most managers work on the training ground. They don't seem to get it right constantly. And I know that Moreno bombs forward, and I know that he takes chances, and that's what Klopp wants from him. But I'm talking about when they're back in the shape of the team, he overcompensates. And I don't see Lovren, when I've been watching Liverpool, telling him, you don't need to be so close to me. You literally, you can go 5 yards further outside. I don't see that from Liverpool. I just see them quite content to be back into positions without anyone taking any responsibility defensively.
Better players, like if they've got Van Dijk and whoever at left back, better players would make them better immediately. They wouldn't be so vulnerable. So you haven't got them, so you've got to compensate. You've got to work around where you're vulnerable. And I think that would be the criticism that Liverpool supporters would have. Going back to the very first game of the season, when they were at Watford and they conceded goals, you know, people are saying nothing's changed. And I think that would be something that Liverpool supporters would be critical of.
If you don't have the players, you as a coach need to...
You compensate, you come up with something to protect those players. I don't think the point you're making I agree with. If Lovren's weak, you have maybe a stronger left back next to him, not someone who's good going the opposite way. Let's
just have a quick look before we move on, Graham, at the goal that Spartak got. It was a free kick. Now, when you guys saw it, you certainly questioned Karius here.
Well, it's in the middle of the... How far is that from the middle of the goal? Is that a yard from the middle of the goal? So, I mean, it just goes through him. I mean, that is poor goalkeeping. I mean, even if he starts off, if his starting position is wrong, he should still get that. I mean, that is not in the corner. That's a yard from the middle of the goal, near enough.
I don't even think he puts his arms fully stretched out to actually make the save as well. I think positionally wrong. He gets enough, the trajectory right, he gets enough pace on the strike, yeah, but he's hardly in the corner of the goal, and he looks far too long, takes far too long before he reacts.
Final point on Liverpool, Brian. How big an issue is that goalkeeping issue in their problems in terms of the defensive side of the game?
Well, I can understand the manager wanting to share out the position at times if he thinks there's not very much between the two goalkeepers. But on the basis of tonight, Karius has come in and didn't look sharp enough. We could have had a couple of other bits in the game tonight. He came out and made a couple of punches where he should have caught the ball cleanly in the match. He's not playing regular. But surely this competition is very, very important. We saw it with Arsenal a couple of years ago where he chop and change Pedro Spina in the Champions League matches and it cost him dearly. I think you should play the best goalkeeper in the most important matches. If it's a League Cup match midweek and you want to play him and you think it's not that important, play him. But not in the Champions League.
If you're rotating your goalkeepers, what does it say? If you're a goalkeeper, if we're in 3 goalkeepers and he's playing us in different competitions, are we really happy with that? I think what he's saying is I don't really trust any of you. Someone stand up and show me you are the main man.
OK, let's leave it there at the moment, lads.